welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie. Today I have kind of a fun video. I saw somebody else do this and I think it's a really fun kind of shop my stash concept. So the prompt is if I could only keep one in each category of my current makeup collection, what would I keep? And I loved doing this thought exercise, and I'm here to share with you what I would pick. If I had to only pick one thing in each category that's in my makeup collection, these are the things I would keep. And looking at what I have in front of you are all things that I absolutely love. So I would be perfectly fine if this was my only makeup basket and nothing else. I'm going to go in sections. We're going to start with eyes because I always do my eye makeup first, and then I do my face, and I finish with lips. So that's the order I'm going to do. I can leave timestamps in chapters if you're interested in skipping around. So for eyes, first up is a eye primer. The only eye primer I use, and my favorite for a few years now, is the Milani eyeshadow primer. Mine is almost done. I do have a backup already purchased. This is great. Like it's cheap, it's accessible, and it's effective. It works really well. I definitely feel like I don't really need to explore any other eyeshadow primers because this one just works so well for me. One tube lasts me about a year, so it seems like every year this time, you know, I'm finishing one up and buying a new one, but I absolutely love this. So this would be the one that I would keep. Then I got to eyeshadow, and eyeshadow was kind of tricky. So I decided to pick one palette, and if I could only have one single eyeshadow. So the single eyeshadow I would keep is the Wet n Wild Brulee. This is a matte eyeshadow. It's kind of like a bone cream, like it matches my skin color. I use this to set my primer and to kind of help me clean up. It's kind of like an eraser sometimes, where if my eyeshadow is like too dark or I get it like too far over, I can kind of use a little bit of this to blend it away. And I just absolutely love this. This is a core piece of my makeup routine. A lot of times eyeshadow palettes will include this, but not always. I feel like we're kind of moving away from that trend. For a while, there was always a matte kind of cream shade, and I'm seeing less and less of that in palettes now. The palette I picked doesn't have a shade like this, so I would still want a single eyeshadow, and this is the one I would pick. Kind of boring, but makes a difference for me and my routine. For eyeshadow palette, I would pick the Glam palette by Natasha Denona. This is so reflective. Now, I rearranged mine. It's all the same shades, just in a different order than when you purchase it because there are holes on the back for you to pop them out and rearrange. So I've rearranged mine. This is what it looks like. I kind of did more of a gradient of light to dark, but I love the number of shimmery lid shades in here. So like all of these are basically shades I would use on my lid. I've got all mattes here at the bottom, but these 6 really are shades that I'm very comfortable just taking my finger in here and swiping on my lid. And then of course I've got a nice variety of mattes. We've got like a warmer tone, cooler tones, light to dark. And then I do have 4 kind of deeper shades over here, which are great for like an outer third to kind of add more definition or be a little bit more smoky. So for me, this is a really, really perfect palette. The only thing that's missing is some sort of like matte bone shade, but if I can have a single, then this is perfect for me. I really love this palette. It is such high quality. And for me, it's pigmented where a little bit goes a long way, but it's not so pigmented that if I go too heavy, I can't clean it up. You know what I mean? Like I can just keep blending and things will eventually, you know, kind of diffuse. So it's not like it's, sometimes I've used eyeshadows, especially mattes, where they get on your eye and no matter how much you blend, they just don't budge. They stay exactly where they stay put. And these ones blend pretty well for me. So this is the palette I would select if I could only pick one palette from my collection. Then next I have mascara. My favorite mascara is from CoverGirl. It is the Exhibitionist mascara. And I just love this one. Again, kind of like the primer, like I don't need to explore any other mascaras. I love the wand. It's a very slight hourglass shape. Like it's not super crazy, but it's enough. And I love that I can really get in there. It gives me nice volume. Because I wear glasses, I don't want a ton of length. Like I don't want my lashes hitting my lenses. But I do like to have some volume and definition behind my lenses, like so you can see that I am wearing mascara. And this is my favorite. So I continue to purchase this. I typically go through one mascara a quarter. And so I'm always buying this. And this is the only mascara I've used for a few years now. And I'm perfectly happy with that. So that is the one I would pick. And then I also include brows as like eye products. And the brow product I would pick is from Milani. This is their, what do they call it? Stay Put Brow Color. It's like their pomade. I have the shade 01 Soft Brown, and mine is pretty well used up. I've revived it once. I probably need to revive it again. I've used like half of it. It's great. I love a pomade. It's what I have in my brows today. I have brows that are pretty well defined at the front, then they get a little bit more blonde in the tail. So I like something like this where I have control over, I can go a little bit deeper in the tail to bring it up to color basically. And I can be a little bit more light-handed and feather through the front part of my brow just to add a little bit of definition. And I feel like this formula of pomade like holds my brows. I don't feel like I have, you know, crazy unruly brows, but it does hold them in place. So I don't feel like I need anything else but this. I might just need to refresh this particular one, or if that doesn't work, maybe it's time to buy a new one. And those are the eye products. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eye products, and these 5 I would be totally cool with. All right, I'm going to set those aside in my basket, and then we'll talk about face products next. So for face primer, I have a favorite face primer, so this was easy. This is from Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Filter True Matte Primer. I have oily skin, and this is my favorite mattifying primer. It is not a silicone slippery base. It is, I don't know, it's not like super tacky either. It's just a great in between, and I love it. It's kind of like a cream gel consistency. I definitely feel like it helps with shine and also just keeping some oil back from presenting to the surface of my skin and through all my makeup. So I love this. I continue to repurchase this. I buy them like 2 or 3 at a time. So this was a no-brainer for me. This is my primer of choice and also kind of the only one I use anymore. For concealer, I would pick, I only have one, so that was also an easy choice. The wording on here is all rubbed off, but this is from ColourPop. It's their concealer, and I have the shade Fair 20N, so it's a neutral base. I really like this. I don't use a ton of concealer. Today I have just a little bit under my eyes, a little bit on my chin, and then I have a breakout right there that I put a little bit on, but I don't use a ton of concealer. And I like this one that I can use both under my eyes and on any sort of like blemishes on my skin. So this is the one that I would pick. I like the consistency. It blends well, and it's lasted me pretty well. So this is the one I would choose. Moving into foundation. So I am a powder foundation kind of gal, and I do really love the Fenty Beauty one, but that is new to me. So I wanted to pick my old favorite. I also love this one. This is from L'Oreal. It's the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation in a Powder. There are so many words on here. I love this because they do have a really excellent range of shades. Like you can pretty confidently find a shade that would work for you, which is great because they have enough like nuance between the shades where I do in fact have a winter and like a summer shade. So this one is 20, which is called Ivory. I have used a number of these up over the years. I've hit pan. I generally go through a powder foundation like every 2 months-ish, but I love it because I can build it up, I can keep it sheer, and because I have oily skin, this is then kind of setting on top of the primer. Any oiliness is really kind of staying back and not coming to the surface of my skin. So I really love this. This would be the foundation I would pick. I would stick with the powder foundation, and I would stick with this particular brand, even though there are some other beautiful ones out there. I also am going to allow myself to pick a powder. So separate from like a true foundation, the powder I would pick is the one, this is beloved to me. It is discontinued, and I have kind of come to terms with it. This one has probably a third left in it, and then it will be gone forever. This is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Mattifying Powder. It's a loose powder, of course. I just love this. I wish they never discontinued the Peach Perfect line. It was for oily skin. They had a primer that I loved. They had a foundation. They had this powder. They might have had one other product in the line, and then they discontinued it, which I think is a bummer. I personally find it hard to find oily skin products that are targeted and like actually work. I feel like the style is very glowy, And like, I have enough glow. I need to bring the glow down. I need help with that. And I just feel like brands aren't doing as many items geared towards oily skin. So anyway, this is the powder I would pick. It's still in my collection, so I'm going to say it counts. But if I had to pick something, you know, fresh that was still available, I would pick the Fenty loose powder. That one's also very good. I've been trying that one out this year. So this is the powder of my choice. Moving into colored face products, I would pick the Milani bronzer. This one is the Silky Matte Bronzing Powder. I have the shade 01 Sunlight, so it's the lightest one. I obviously am very fair, so this is a great shade of bronzer for me. I love a matte bronzer over, I mean, I'll use a shimmer bronzer, but I prefer a matte bronzer. And this one just works really well. I don't use a ton of it, but I like to have a little bit just to add some depth back into my face so I don't look so flat after I put on powder foundation. And this one just always blends. I don't have to worry about it being too deep or patchy or anything like that. This one has just been working really well for me. So I would pick this one. For blush, I kind of had a minute there thinking about it. And I would pick also a Milani blush. I'm really into Milani, I'm realizing. This is the Rose Powder Blush in the shade 01 Romantic Rose. This is a very neutral, light blush. Like, it is not popping. It's not the highlight focus of your look, but this is a blush that just adds something. Every time I wear it, it's like, yes, that's exactly what my face was missing, was just a little touch of color, but nothing too, you know, over the top or bright. And I think if I had to just pick one blush that I wear, like for the rest of my life, this I would be totally fine with. I also really love, what is it, like the Mood Exposure blush from Hourglass. It's kind of like a plummy rose. I really love that one. I think I've used up 2 of those. But this is the one that's currently in my collection that I would use that fills that spot. It's just light, it's pretty, and it just adds enough color to my skin to make me look alive without overpowering anything. So I love that. And then for highlight, I would pick the Fenty Beauty highlight. This is called the Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighter Duo. And there are 2 shades in here. The lighter one is called Hustla Baby, and the darker one is called Mean Money. So it looks a little something like this. So this is the lighter one, this is the darker one. Maybe that's cheating because there's 2 in here. If I only had to pick one, I would pick the Hustla Baby. But I do like both. So this is the one I would pick. This is newer to me this year, but I've been using it for a good couple of months. I absolutely love it. It's such a fine, like, you know, shimmer on your cheeks. It's not too overpowering, and these colors work for my skin tone. So this is the one I would pick from my highlighter collection. This is fabulous. And then the last face product that I use that I would pick is a setting spray. And I would pick the Milani Make It Last Original. I'm currently finishing up the Make It Last Matte, and it's not worth it. I like the original better. So this would be the setting spray I use. I use setting spray every day. I like that it just kind of helps settle down the powder, especially because I use a powder foundation and then I use powder, you know, cheek products. I just like that to kind of settle in. I also feel like it kind of helps just like, yeah, melt everything together and keep the makeup on a little bit longer. I also will use this on the back of my hand. I'll put like a spray and wet a brush, and then I'll use eyeshadow as eyeliner. I actually don't use like pencil eyeliner or anything like that anymore. I just use my eyeshadows. And this is kind of the mixing solution I use to make a powder more of a liquid, you know, type liner product. So I have a couple of uses for this, but primarily it's for my face. And this is the one I would pick. So that wraps up the face section. Let's end it here on a high note with lips. I picked 2 categories, lipstick and lip gloss. I don't use liners anymore. The lipstick I would keep is the Charlotte Tilbury Icon Baby. This was my wedding day lipstick. It's kind of nostalgic. It's a nice nude pink. The packaging is beautiful. This is a lipstick I could wear every single day, no matter the season, no matter the event, you know, if I'm working from home or if I'm going out or whatever, this is a lipstick that'll work for me. So this is the one that I would pick. And then I also picked a gloss, and I really went back and forth on this, but I picked the Maybelline Lifter Gloss. because it has sparkles in it, and my other glosses don't have sparkles. So I would want, in addition to the lipstick, some sort of sparkly gloss. And again, I could wear this on its own or layer it with the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. You know, obviously you can do combos, but yeah, these are the two that I would pick. And the gloss shade here, I have 012 Opal. So it's, I think, like one of the lightest shades. And it is a nice kind of baby pink, again, with sparkles in it. So it's not super bright in the lips. It kind of just, and I can put some on. It's kind of just like a My Lips But Better. It almost is kind of like a little bit clear, and that my natural lip color still shines through. It just adds that gloss and a little bit of sparkle. So yeah, these are the two lip products I would pick, and that wraps up this whole video. This was really fun for me. I definitely think I would do this again next year. I just want to see where my makeup collection is at. I'm sure I'll have new products, different products to pick from. But if you joined this, I would love to hear from you in the comment section, or if you post videos, maybe you want to post something similar about what you would pick. This was just like a fun, you know, fantasy self make-believe scenario. And it really made me realize how many great products I have and how many of them I'm done exploring. Like there's definitely categories, mascara, brows, primers, concealer, that I'm just like not willing to explore in anymore, which is kind of funny, but this is where I am in my life. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you consider subscribing. I am posting every day for the month of December for Vlogmas. And so with that, I will end this one and see you tomorrow for the next video. Bye.